My name is Naba. The artwork that I was looking at was the manuscript of Monsieur's anatomy. Monsieur, who was the person who kind of collected this information, he died in the 1400s. The book is filled with anatomical drawings that were collected over time in Iran. The work had the drawing or a sketch of the human body and like the organ systems. On the other side had like some text. It definitely brought to mind a science textbook. I see like a lung, heart figure. It was like one combined thing, and there was like some intestines. So it was like recognizable, but obviously it wasn't like the actual thing. It was so cool because everything was labeled and described. There's a lot of like really fine details. The brush strokes were very, very thin, very intricate. The coloring was very faint, but I assume that's just because it was quite old. The coloring probably used to be more vivid. What I was curious about was how they got all this information and how they made that assumption of how the body looked on the inside. Whether the context was more from like a factual perspective, or could it have been like from something like maybe more philosophical. I also wonder if the people making it were like doctors, or were they like just any kind of scholar. I think the artist was probably trying to communicate as much accuracy as they could, trying to get as much as they can on the page, just because the page was pretty big, like it was a pretty big book and it was all full with information. The main part of the artwork is its practical sense and how it was probably used to pass like this information on about how the body is, because in the description it said that it was one of the first drawings of a whole human body. After talking to the educator and talking about how this information is a collective work and it's a collective effort, so it wasn't just one person thinking about how the human body looked or how it worked, but rather it was a bunch of people thinking about, okay, so this is our opinion, this is what we've researched, and then collecting that and combining it into one work. It might seem like really easy to us to make a book now, but back then, like binding the book, finding all the materials for the book, getting the paper, getting the person to scribe everything, getting the illustrators, like that's a lot of work. The people making it were of a certain class. I chose to create an artwork inspired by what you discovered. So my idea was kind of make a very similar book, but have it realistic to what it is now, and the quality of book that we would produce now with nice paper and nice cover and all that kind of stuff, just to see how things have changed and how something so old and outdated at that time would have been something so new and something so amazing and groundbreaking. If I would change it, I would add some headers on the top just so I know what page I'm on, or page numbers. Other than that, I think it was like, it's a beautiful piece of work. And it's cool to see that like back then that was like a practical piece of work. But now it's like we're looking at it and we're like, yeah, it's art.